Story 1. My mom asked me to watch my siblings for a week. It's been 9 weeks. My mom went out 2 days before Christmas and then texted me 12 hours later saying she would be gone for a week and for me to have the kids. She hasn't come back since. So almost 9 weeks. I have heard from her 3 times total and she is saying she isn't coming back anytime soon. She just keeps sending money. My siblings are 16, 13, 12, 9, and 7. I'm 19. I'm surviving looking after the kids by myself, and not much has changed because I did most of it when my mom was here anyway. We live with our nan, but she doesn't help with them really either, and my older siblings are long moved out. I guess my question is my mom being gone a serious issue legally and with social services? I don't want to risk the kids going into care. Been there, done that when I was younger, so I haven't told anyone that she's gone. I'm scared of what will happen if people find out, so I don't want to even ask the question in real life. February 29, 2024. I spoke to my mom on the phone and told her I want her to give me custody of the kids since she is refusing to come back or say when she will be back, and I'm done with her bullshit. We argued for like an hour, but in the end she said she would do it after I told her I was going to call the police on her. Before speaking to her, I spoke to a lawyer, and I should be able to get legal guardianship through a parenting order which will go through court. My 22-year-old brother said he will move home and help me under the condition that my mom doesn't move back as he refuses to be around her. His income and input will help a lot, and he seems serious about wanting to be involved with parenting and taking care of the kids, especially our little brother, as he needs a male role model badly. If we can't get custody, then my nan should be able to. Either way, my mom is very unlikely to keep custody unless she suddenly decides she gives a shit. I would bet my life she will never give a flying fuck. Getting legal custody is the outcome I want, so I'm relieved it seems like a real possibility. Now I'm just doing a total overhaul of everything with the kids because I think they need a lot more structure, discipline, rules, routine than they have had until now. I have realized I don't really know anything about good parenting, so I have a lot to learn. Maybe I will get some books. Until now our house has been more like a house share, with everyone doing what they want and running around feral rather than anyone really guiding the kids. I grew up even more feral, and I don't think it's a good way to be raised. So I'm starting a bath and bedtime routine for the youngest two, and a curfew for the teenagers. Because RM, the 12-year-old, goes off on a skateboard and will just show up again at like 10 p.m. on a school night. I've also been giving them much better food than they usually have, and it's been rough to get them to eat healthy, but we have made so much progress already. Any advice on instilling rules would be welcome, as I don't think it will be easy and I have never had any kind of actual parent role model in my life. March 14, 2024. Hi. Not sure if doing multiple updates is okay, but I have had a lot of messages since the Baru post and think it will be easier to update people who are interested like this, as replying to all is hard. Thanks to advice here, we have realized that getting kinship is a better choice for us financially than getting legal guardianship. This wasn't mentioned to us by the lawyer or social services, so I'm so grateful for everyone here, as we will have so much less financial stress on kinship and we will get access to a lot more services for the kids. Things are already seeming so much less scary. My brother has come home to help me and is working remotely for his same job, which is ideal. He has been amazing at making it all happen so fast and packing up his life to move back. He is still back and forth at the moment, but should be here full time, besides a few days a month where he has to be there in person. Our oldest sister has said she will send some money every month to help us, but doesn't want to be involved other than that. I understand why and am very grateful she is helping. Honestly, it hurts a bit that she refuses to talk about the kids or anything, but she is doing what she can handle, RN, I guess. Our other sister is working FIFO right now and has suggested coming back on her weeks off to help out, but I'm not sure if that will actually happen or work well in reality. My brother doesn't get along with her very well and says he doesn't think living with her again will work. The kids are still struggling with the new rules and we have had some issues. 16-year-old hates me, so my brother is trying to take over with her. BC, I am bored of fighting with her. The others are doing better but still so difficult. 7-year-old wants sleep, which is the hardest thing right now. BC, then I can't sleep and I'm tired AF. She has meltdowns when she's tired, and she's always tired now, so she's always having meltdowns. What to do with her? Everything I try to make her sleep doesn't work that well. She says she doesn't know why she won't sleep, so to even start. My brother tried to get her to bed and she just cried and screamed for me. 12-year-old is listening to our brother, which is the best thing to ever happen because I was really worried about handling him since he listens to me never. 13 and 9-year-old are easier and not stressing me out too much. So we are kind of divide and conquer now. My brother handles 2 and I handle the other 3. I have found out I am very protective of the younger ones and find it very difficult to let my brother discipline them, so it causes less problems between us if I deal with them. Still early days and hoping consistency will fix a lot of the smaller issues. Long term, we want to rent somewhere bigger as our nan's house is very cramped and making things harder. This is long and messy, sorry. Just wanted to update everyone who has asked and thank everyone again for the advice. April 4th, 2024. Back with another update for those who asked. Can't believe it's been over 3 months now. We applied for kinship and have had the provisional approval and a home inspection and some interviews. We've got a couple more things to do / still ongoing, and then we should be good. We got our first payment, which has been so good and really made me feel much more optimistic about everything. BC, we will be able to actually do something other than just survive. The caseworker pretty much told me they don't want to have to find placements for this many kids, so us keeping them is their much preferred option, which is reassuring. My mom hasn't contacted me for a while. We thought she might show up on Easter. Holidays are usually her time to cry about how much she misses our dad, and she usually prefers to ruin everyone's day with that. But she didn't come, thank God. Our nan is still at our auntie's. BC, she can't stand to be around us apparently. BC, me trying to feed them good food and not let a 7-year-old disappear for hours on bicycles with kids 3+ years old than her is just me thinking I'm better than my nan. A lot of people said to try and co-sleep with 7 years old, so I have started doing that. It's helping a bit and she actually will lay down, so that's a win, but she still cries a lot and tries to get up. She also does a death grip on me, so I have kind of accepted that I have to go to bed when she does. It's not the worst thing ever. BC, I've been looking things up and reading online whilst I lay with her when she eventually calms down. I've ordered melatonin to try. I share a room with 16 years old and she doesn't want 7 years old in there, but it's kind of tough. I can't do anything about it until we can move house, which isn't going to be soon. It's not the most peaceful night with her in there. She kicks me and wakes up at random times trying to chat or crying, but we are getting some sleep. She slept in my single bed with me from 4 months old until she was like 2. I clearly knew nothing about safe sleep, but my mom had sold the crib to try to annoy my dad, so she actually had nowhere else to sleep. And I haven't told her that. BC, I don't want to tell her mom didn't care that she didn't have a bed, but she seems to remember. BC, she said we used to have sleepovers in your bed a lot, didn't we? Oh. Also, I got 16 years old earplugs. And told her she can sleep in 7 years old's bed in the other room if she prefers. I do my best to try to soothe 7 years old in general. She had one of her crying breakdowns last week and said she didn't feel safe or happy. Then she said she wishes I was her real mummy. I told her I am her real mummy. I've looked after her whole life and I won't ever leave her. She seems a bit happier since then. I'm going to get a photo of us for her to have in her little purse she carries everywhere. She's pretty sentimental, so she will like that. Yesterday she asked me if me and our brother are married. Lol, obviously I said no, and she said I just feel like you are my mom and dad. I hope that's a good thing, even if it is a little weird. She is definitely bonding with him too. She always wants me to carry her around, and when I say no, BLM busy, he offers to do it and she lets him now. She used to ignore him. Seeing her snuggle into his neck and actually relax is the cutest thing. Makes my heart happy. BC, I remember wishing I had a dad who would hold me, and I'm so glad she is getting all the love. Me and my brother have had a few disagreements over discipline. He is pretty strict and usually that's a good thing. They need it TBH, but sometimes I find it a bit much. Biggest disagreement was when he smacked 9 years old and I lost my shit. We grew up with a lot worse in NGL. I have smacked them before, but I don't want to be doing that anymore. Bro thinks there's nothing wrong with one smack on the bum. I would just rather we don't go there. He said he won't do it again and I don't think he will. He wasn't angry when he did it, so I'm not really concerned about it, and he apologized to 9 years old. We're just still trying to figure out discipline. Our dad used an electric cord as a whip, so one smack on the bum is practically gentle parenting to us. I have read enough to know we don't want to be doing any physical disciplining though. Worst thing I've had to do is give the youngest 2 suppositories. My sister gave me money to take them to the GP. BC, I was worried about them and couldn't find any for free and didn't want to wait for kinship. Turns out they are both malnourished, underweight and constipated AF. And they've missed some vaccines. For the constipation we tried medicine and more fiber and more water, but no bueno, so it had to be the suppositories. The doctor said it was verging on severe. I tried to explain it to them and make the whole thing easy, but it turned into quite the drama. 9 years old was easier, but still took me a while. 7 years old was impossible and everyone got too stressed on day 1, so we left it, and she was still not complying on day 2, so my brother had to get involved and pretty much had to hold her down. BC, I called the doctor and she said either we do it or I take her in, and they do it. So we had no choice really, and I still feel horrible about it. I'm obsessed with what they're eating now. I do not want anyone going through that again. But I will say they are a lot better since. They aren't getting tummy aches and they aren't so grouchy. And it has helped 7 years old with her sleep for sure. We are getting the other 3 to the doctor next week. We will do telehealth after, but I want them to see someone in person for the first appointment. After that, the next thing on the list is dentist. We have looked at therapy and should be getting telehealth sessions soon. So far all 3 teenagers have said they aren't doing therapy, but I will try to make them at least try it. 16 years old is still difficult. She took my ID and she was going out whenever she liked. But my brother grounded her and she has actually listened and not tried to sneak out. The other 3 are doing okay. No big issues with them, TBH, they are adapting pretty well, I think. I try to talk to them all about everything when I can, and they all seem to understand what's going on and trust that we won't be going anywhere, and we just need them to cooperate with us so we can get through. My little brother J12 is obsessed with older bro. I used to have an issue with Jay going out every evening for hours and was so stressed about trying to keep him home and safe, but Matt being here has basically eliminated the issue. Jay just wants to be around him all the time, and Matt has somehow got this kid thinking doing homework with him is the best thing ever. Sorry this is so long again. How long I will keep doing these updates, but for now everyone is so incredibly helpful that I will carry on posting. BC, I always need more advice. The advice and support from everyone in the comments and PM has been amazing and has actually helped change our day-to-day life for the better, so thank you SM Internet strangers. Feeling like shit. Parenting is kind of hell. RN. April 14th, 2024. My previous posts explain everything, but short version is our mum left right before Christmas and am now looking after my 5 younger siblings. 16 years old has been a pain in the ass the whole time. So unhelpful, permanently grumpy and arguing about everything and winding up the younger ones just to be annoying. Basically making my life harder every chance she gets. She got her phone confiscated today because she was videoing our little sister having an emotional meltdown and laughing at her. Later on, whilst I was putting the phone away, I saw a message from our mum pop up saying some horrible shit. My mum hasn't messaged me in weeks and 16 years old doesn't mention messaging her at all, so I was like WTF. Took me a few attempts to get into her phone, but I got in and saw so many messages. Mostly her begging our mum to come home and our mum either ignoring her or telling her to come to the city she's in. RN. 16 years old sent her so many messages saying our younger siblings need her, and our mum replied saying I think I know how to raise them better, so she is leaving me to it since I don't want her here. Most recent one was 16 years old asking why she doesn't care about us, and our mum basically saying she has better things to do than sit here and listen to us all tell her everything she is doing wrong all the time. I knew she was having a hard time, but reading her messages to our mom has broken me and I just want to stop her hurting so much. She basically hates me right now, so comforting her is very hard because she will not open up even a bit, and whenever I speak to her about it she acts like she doesn't care. What to do or say to her or. Meanwhile my older sister just calls me periodically to tell me she wishes she could help but she can't. BC of a list of reasons including but not limited to her not being able to face being around our youngest sister. BC, our parents said she was her replacement and older sis can't get over it. Which is like, okay, but baby sis just turned 7 and big sis is almost 25. So at some point she needs to try get past that and realize it's not the little one's fault. And big sis is struggling because she feels like I'm her kid apparently, and she wanted me to come live with her when I was younger, but I chose to stay here and let my mum get away with not parenting. But the alternative is my siblings being neglected and abused like we were. Anyway, Free don't have time to be dealing with her emotional issues on top of everyone else's. And she's whining to me like, oh, I had to take time off work. BC, I'm having a hard time memory. Which makes me feel so great when I am working my ass off to feed 5 kids and dealing with a million behavioral issues a day and don't have time to do anything. Before everyone starts shouting therapy, yeah, it's in the works. Trying to get telehealth arranged, but it's taking forever. We can't afford anything else, so that's the best we have for now. Until then it's good old fashioned just get on with it and try not to fuck the kids up any more than they are already. May 20th, 2024. Another update. My inbox is still flooded and I can't reply to everyone, so just going to say it all here for you guys and anyone else who wants to know. Been like 5 months now. JFC. Firstly, thank you for all the nice messages and offers of help and stuff. I really do appreciate it, and sorry if I haven't replied, but I have had literally hundreds of messages and it's kind of overwhelming for me. I have read most of them and I'm still trying to reply to more, but it's a big job. Currently things are going okay. Big things that have happened / are happening. My older sister, the second oldest, is coming to visit soon. The relationship between her and my older brother is kind of strained. BC of some shit that happened when they were younger, and the 3 older ones all lived together for a bit after leaving home. Honestly, I think it was just a shit show having 3 damaged teenagers living together in a new place with no support. I don't have time to be the mediator though, so just told them if they can't get along then my sister will need to leave. The kids don't need any more drama and my brother needs to focus on being a parent. She's coming she wants to, and she said she won't cause any drama, she just wants to help. We'll see how it goes anyway, but I'm low-key dreading it. Last time I saw this sister was years ago though, so I'm trying to not think she's going to be the same as she was when she was a teenager. We have started planning to move to WA. My brother is desperate to get out of our town and not have to worry about our parents showing up. He gets a lot of anxiety about it. He doesn't like me being at home without him being here. His job will help him move over there and he has been set on it for a while now. We will be able to transfer over there even with the kids being on kinship care, which is basically the only thing I was worried about. But that's confirmed, we will be fine to do it, so now I'm on board with it. Won't be any time soon, but hopefully end of the year we can move. Financially we are doing pretty good. We have the kinship money, mine and my brother's wages, and my older sisters have been sending money consistently. My brother is good with money and we are able to save some. I was able to buy the kids a small present each to cheer them up on Mother's Day. They have like barely any toys, so the little ones are psyched to have some things to play with and have been being feral outdoors way less this week. They have been playing Lego and Barbies like normal children. 7 years old sleeps so good when I give her melatonin. I don't do it every night, but when I do it's like a mini holiday. She sometimes wakes up mad, but I can deal with that when I have actually slept. Other nights when she doesn't have it, I either keep her downstairs and hope she will fall asleep on me or my brother whilst watching TV, or I go through the emotional bedtime routine of her crying and saying she doesn't want to go to bed whilst I read the same 3 stories until she chills out. She is doing better at school again now. It was pretty bad for a while. Obviously BC, she was permanently exhausted and surviving on literal air only. BC, the kid wouldn't sleep or eat. Right now 9 and 13 years olds are doing the telehealth therapy sessions. 7 years old won't speak to the therapist, so she's having indirect help through me. 12 years old hates it, so my brother is trying to learn techniques to do with him to help him. 16 years old refuses, which I was expecting anyway. Tried to force her to do it and that didn't go well. So again I just try to give her indirect help. I had some one-to-one time with her recently and she was different in a good way. She lets her guard down when the younger kids aren't there. Like she can be vulnerable or whatever. She said, "Thank you for looking after us" to me on MD. Haven't seen any more messages on 16 years old's phone from our mom. She has completely stopped messaging any of us. The last thing she said to me was she doesn't know why I'm turning her kids against her. Kinda hilarious TBH, but just proves she is deep into Lulu land. On Mother's Day 7-year-old went outside 4 times before 8 a.m. to make sure mom isn't coming down the road, and she has been crying about our dad, not sure why exactly. When I'll ask, she just says she's worried about him. Jai-year-old gets annoyed with her and tells her to stop crying because our dad is a bad person. She is also very defensive of me and my brother and tries to police all the other kids and tells them to behave and be nice to us and don't argue /backchat/ misbehave. I think she's concerned we will get fed up and leave. OFC, I reassure her we won't and she doesn't need to tell the others off. It's kinda funny anyway TBH because she is no angel herself. Their diet is a lot better. We still have issues every meal of every day, but overall it's better and they are doing well with trying to eat new things. Years of ramen and chicken nuggets has obviously been horrible for our bodies. But they all have at least 1 fruit or veg a day and have real dinners. They like pasta baked, so that's the new ramen around here. My brother cooks curry and tries to get them to eat it, but that doesn't go down so well. They like when he makes chicken and potatoes. 7 years old likes bluey pouches of vanilla custard and would eat those for every meal if I let her. My oldest sister is still a pain in the ass and wants to talk about our trauma all the time. She just has more time to dwell than I do. I have no time to dwell. I asked her to please not message me unless it's positive or helpful. Her reply showed she really is just jealous that I am giving all my time and energy to the kids, but I really don't have it in me to look after an adult's emotional needs as well. She sees me as her kid and she wants to see me but doesn't want to see the younger ones. Like she asked me to come visit and leave them with my brother for a few days. I'm not going to leave insecure kids who are permanently stressed that I will leave for good. Imagine how stressed they would be the whole time. She also thinks I am babying them. But I'm just treating them like children. Mostly it's just annoying that she is like this, but it's also partly upsetting because there is nothing I would love more than for her to meet and love 7-year-old. For me it would be like my mom meeting my child. BC, my oldest sister, raised me when I was really young, and 7 years old is the only one of the kids I have fully raised since she was a tiny baby, and my mom told me she didn't want her. Anyway, I am trying not to get too caught up in everything with my older sister because I have enough going on with all the kids. My grandma is still at my aunt's house and very unhelpful. But she's not bothering me much, so that's ideal. She mentioned wanting my cousin to move in here because he got kicked out by his girlfriend and has nowhere to live. But fuck that father, he's a creep and a drug addict, so no way is that happening. Over my dead body. This has taken me like 3 days to finish writing and I have probably forgotten some stuff, but really just wanted to say thanks for the support, and I'm not ignoring my messages, I just am busy and overwhelmed. Story 2. Mother wants to legally force me to live with her even though I am 39. So my mother, 60, has always had a flair for dramatics and will convince herself of things that are just not true, and of course her brothers, my uncles, think it's hilarious and will get her worked up even more, while making fun of her for being so gullible behind her back. I cut her out of my life 4 years ago. We are in Michigan. Someone I trust in the family came to me with concerns that my mother may lie to try to get conservatorship over me. Here is what I know. Her current belief is that I am an unemployed alcoholic living in my car and being taken advantage of by evil men from the political party that she hates. This is not true. I have a place, pay my bills, and had a full-time job last time we spoke. I did leave that job, but I also returned to school full-time on GL bill, which includes a stipend for living expenses, and found a sweet part-time job, in an air-conditioned office, on campus. As far as I know, she has no idea I am back in school, and I haven't told anyone in my family, even the ones I trust, what is going on in my life. Problem is that she lost her job of over 20 years during a mass layoff sometime since we last spoke. These new co-workers haven't known her long enough to recognize how she doesn't keep her story straight or how she flip-flops things around. Basically, she has led everyone she works with to believe I am only in my early mid-20s and haven't quite finished my teenage rebellion phase, and she is a good mommy who just wants to save her baby from the evil political party. They have all been helping her with research, and believe because I have a disability rating from the VA, it means I am mentally incompetent. It does not at all mean that. Now I am positive that none of them actually understand how a VA disability rating actually works. My mother likely lied to them about it. Her new friends believe she can have me declared incompetent, force me to live with her for monitoring, and finally take control of my finances, thus getting control of my disability payments. I have an 80 rating, which is currently just under $2,000 a month. My concern isn't that my mother could prove I am incompetent, but it's that she could use court proceedings to get a hold of my address, school, or workplace. I guess my question is about rules of discovery when it comes to conservatorship cases. Can my mother or any lawyer willing to take her case on actually get a hold of my personal info I don't want her to have? If I provide courts with documents proving my competence and ability to care for myself, do I have the right to ask the court to seal or redact any information or documents with info I don't want her getting? She sabotaged me going to college around 20 years ago, and I don't want to go through that again. I am assuming that the first person I would ever have to deal with would be a social worker, and I want to know if I have any legal recourse to prevent the social worker from sharing my info with my mother. Update, 2 days later. I tried to update the original post and couldn't, and the update comment I left got buried at the bottom. Backstory: mother wanted me declared incompetent to gain control of me and my veteran disability payments. So I talked with another family member who confirmed what the first said. Everyone is angry because I wasn't supposed to find out what happened because they were handling it. I refused to tell who told me, which is causing more anger, but whatever. So this situation had resolved itself last week. My mother was talking a big game about how she was calling lawyers and adult protective services. After a few days she started trashing on all lawyers and saying that APS was wasting taxpayer dollars. Apparently she has forgotten all about this whole mess. Her job got a new summer internet and my mother is obsessed. Every conversation anyone has with her is about this guy. My poor grandma has to have no less than a 1-hour conversation with my mother every day about this guy. The guy comes from a lot of money, which in the end was what I think she wanted with me. This guy just turned 20 and my mother is 60. Update, 8 days later. TLDR of my previous post was that my mother wanted to have me declared incompetent so she could get control of my veteran disability payments and force me to come live with her. I went no contact like 4 years ago. Her plan was to make up wild stories about me and it didn't go her way. Now she is obsessed with this new intern at her job that comes from money, and seems to have forgotten all about her plan. I was able to squeeze in meeting with a social worker who works at my VA clinic. I gave her the rundown and even showed her my 2 previous posts. She thought it was kinda funny. She informed me that if a state SW were to be informed of a veteran in a need, they would reach out to the VA and she would likely be a first point of contact. She said that no one from the county or state has contacted her about me yet, but she would make a note. Apparently, the whole Britney Spears conservatorship has made a lot of people think it's super easy to get conservatorships. She said some people think they will get paid a lot of money to do it. Her best guess is that if my mother did call, it was explained to her how complex the process is and that I would be guided to the VA to receive treatment first, before declaring me incompetent. She did agree with many of the comments that said my mother could find me pretty easily if she really wanted to. The SW used to work at the state office, and while she didn't work at Adult Protective Services, but she had friends and coworkers who did. Money seemed to her to be a really big factor in how hard people fought to get conservatorship. She was surprisingly compassionate towards my mother and said sometimes parents just get worried and worry makes people do stupid things. She said some parents have a hard time adjusting to their children becoming adults and moving out. Sometimes it's because they are losing child support, or they're losing the person who did all the chores, or because they just don't want to face reality that their baby grew up. And these parents will lash out at the world instead of accepting the truth. She told me about a case a friend of hers had where the parents of an adult woman who had moved out couldn't face reality. Her parents had been relying on her to do all the housework and raise her brothers. With her gone, everything fell apart at home. These parents blamed their daughter who had moved out instead of taking responsibility for their own lives. Her friend was so stressed by the case because she got yelled at by the parents almost daily about how the state needed to force their daughter to move back in with them. They never got their wish and almost lost their other kids. A grandparent found out what was happening and stepped up to set the parents straight. Someone had messaged me saying my post was blowing up on social media, and I went looking for it and couldn't find it. They pointed out my family could see it, but I've decided I don't care if they do. So basically, if my mother really wants to find me, she can, but the conservatorship isn't that easy to get, and I know my mother well enough to know she doesn't have the patience or money needed to pursue this anymore. Also, there seems to be a lot of rules surrounding conservatorship that I don't think my mother would have liked following. So I should be good for a while. Story 3. My wife's sister tried to kiss me and now my wife is spiraling. Help me. Sorry for how long this is, TL, doctor at the bottom. As the title says, my wife's sister made a pass at me at a recent family gathering and I have no idea what to do. For context, I think my wife Jenna is absolutely gorgeous, but she has some really negative body image issues. This is in large part because of her sister Mary, who is very conventionally attractive, as opposed to Jenna's more unconventional but, emo, striking beauty. Mary was a successful model until a couple years ago and now works in the fashion industry. In our early days of dating, when I would tell Jenna she's beautiful, she would always say just wait until you see my sister. When I did finally meet her family, she would randomly press me for weeks to talk about her sister, whether I thought she was more attractive than her, etc. I always told her the truth, that I think Mary is attractive in a boring way, and that I think my wife is much more beautiful and interesting to look at. She wouldn't let it go until I confronted her about how uncomfortable it made me and asked her what was going on. This is when she told me that she always had a chip on her shoulder about her looks because of being compared with her sister growing up. They fell into the classic smart one/pretty one dynamic their whole lives. She also said Mary had a habit of being flirty with all of her exes, and warned me that it would happen to me eventually. She then started sobbing and begging me to not cheat on her with her sister, to which I forcefully said I would never cheat on her with anyone, let alone her sister. I've been crazy about my wife since day one and there's literally no woman on earth who could come close to her. I honestly didn't believe her about the flirting at first. I assumed it was just an extension of her insecurity, but I was wrong. Whenever we get together with my wife's family, Mary always finds ways to touch me and make little innuendos/comments about me or my body. It's super uncomfortable for everyone, especially my wife, and I've called her out on it before. She'll cool it for a while but eventually start doing it again. It's been 6 years of this, and every time it happens my wife is upset for days and I have to do a lot of reassuring. On to the current problem. A few days ago we were at my Mill's birthday party, and Mary asked me to help her grab some things from the garage. As soon as we walked into the garage, she turned and pressed me up against the door with her whole body and started trying to kiss me. I immediately pushed her off and asked her what the fuck she was doing. She started giggling and saying she was just doing what we both had been thinking and kept insisting you know you want to. I told her she was out of her mind and ran out of there. I went straight to my wife and told her we were leaving. The whole ride home she was asking me what was wrong. I wasn't sure whether to tell her because I knew how much it was going to hurt, but I also thought Mary would probably try to spin it as me making a move on her, so Elle knew I had to just say it. I told her everything and she cried the whole way home. For the last several days Mary has been calling and texting my wife doing exactly what I thought she would do, even telling my wife that I said she, Mary, was the hottest girl I've ever seen, which I had to assure my wife a million times that I did not and would never say, even though she believes my account of the situation. She's been a complete wreck the last several days. She's hardly eating. She pulls away from my touch when I try to hug her or just hold her hand. She says she feels hideous and disgusting and I don't know what to do. This is the lowest I have ever seen her, and it hurts to see how much she's hurting. I have no idea what to do to help her heal from this. Reddit, what should I do? Update, 2 days later. I got a few requests for updates, so here it is. I first want to thank everyone so much for your advice. It was extremely helpful and gave me a lot to think about. I'm especially thankful for the folks that asked me how I was doing. I realized that I have literally never had a chance to check in with myself after these things happen, and I've actually been holding a lot of frustration and resentment about it all. I've been harassed for years and it has either been brushed off or it's been eclipsed by the impact it has on my wife. I don't blame her for it, but this has been a good lesson in me not burying my feelings for the sake of others, even for her. I also want to clarify a couple of things that came up. Several people asked about how my wife's family feels about all this, and I explained in a comment that her parents are toxic and treat Mary as the golden child, even though my wife is a freaking neuroscientist, amazingly talented musician, speaks 3 languages fluently and another 2 conversationally. My wife and her family are seriously the only people who don't seem to understand how exceptional she is. I remember meeting one of my wife's family friends and talking to them about her research, and they said, "Oh wow, her parents just told us she works at a university." Whereas my parents literally introduce her as the family genius to everyone. It makes me so fucking angry to think about how her asshole family has stolen her shine her whole life. She's literally a renaissance woman, but all they care about is looks and money. Some folks ask me why I would ever put myself in a situation alone with Mary given everything she's done. I have no good answers for that other than I never thought she would actually try to do anything. That possibility just didn't exist in my head. I realize now that I should have seen this would happen eventually, and that I should have been less concerned with keeping the peace and more concerned with shutting Mary's shit down before it escalated to this point. Hindsight is 20/20. Anyway, onto the update. The night I posted, I told my wife that if she wanted to try to repair her relationship with her sister I would respect that, but that I don't feel comfortable being around her for the foreseeable future. I said Mary has obviously been deeply jealous of my wife her whole life because she is a hollow, ugly person whose entire value has an expiration date while my wife actually has substance. I said that I think her whole family is toxic and has done nothing but put her down her whole life, but that only she can decide whether she still wants them in her life. I also told my wife that while I don't blame her for her emotional reaction, her insecurity is something that she needs to work on for our relationship to be healthy. What Mary did was sexual assault and she's been sexually harassing me for years, but I have consistently put aside my own feelings about this problem because of how it affects her, and that has prevented me from getting the support that I need, too. I told her that her reaction only serves to punish herself and me for her sister's behavior, and there's no reason to give her that kind of power. I also told her something that a commenter said that really resonated with me: the only people who have ever considered her second best are her and her family. Everyone else sees her for who she really is. She was crying the whole time and agreed that she needed to go to therapy to work on her insecurity. We were able to find a therapist who specializes in body image/self-esteem issues to work with her individually, and we're looking for a couples therapist too. My wife sent a message to her parents and sister that explained exactly what happened and told them she would reach out to them if she ever feels ready to repair their relationship. We blocked all of them everywhere, but Mary has of course been spamming my family and our friends with nonsense, claiming I attacked her, I'm a drug addict, I'll abuse my wife, all kinds of bullshit that, thankfully, nobody believes. My wife is still down in the dumps, but I can see that things are getting a little better. She's eating and sleeping more and she's cuddling with me in the mornings again, which is nice. Now I'm planning a surprise getaway for us this weekend. We're going to one of our favorite places and I'm going to wine and dine her and try to make her feel like the goddamn queen she is. I want to thank you all again for your help. You really helped me understand the severity of the problem, and again, thanks for helping me connect with my own feelings about all this. Y'all are the best. Update 2 to 3 weeks later. So I guess my original posts got reposted onto TikTok and some other subs here on Reddit, so I've been getting tons of messages asking for updates. It feels like things are mostly settled, and I'm really hoping this will be my final update. First, I want to say that I've gotten so many questions about who Mary is, and I'm just not going to say. Suffice it to say that she's never been household name famous, but she made a living solely on modeling for about a decade from what I understand, so she must have been popular enough that fashion people might know her. I really don't know how that whole world works. But emo, it doesn't matter how many names you drop, you're not famous if you don't have a Wikipedia page. Also got lots of comments that, mostly, jokingly called me a simp, and I can't argue with that. I totally am a simp for my wife. She's the coolest. I hope you all find a love that makes you feel this way. Okay, I think that's it. Here is the actual update. My wife loved the getaway weekend. We had a blast, and by the end of it she said she felt like herself again. For a few days after we got back things were really quiet, so we were hopeful that Mary had finally given up, but I felt uneasy about it all. Many of you warned me that Mary would try to interfere with my work, and while I initially dismissed it, I figured I would reach out to my boss just in case. I've been working at the same company for almost 10 years and she's heard me vent about Mary before, so I didn't have to explain too much. My boss just reassured me that she knows my real character and would let me know if Mary tried anything. As you predicted, Mary did try to contact my boss a couple of days later, and the following is a recounting of what my boss told me. Apparently Mary said that I needed to be fired because I was a predator and claimed to have proof that I assaulted her. My boss said that was a very serious accusation to make and asked Mary to explain what proof she had. Mary claimed there was a camera that caught the whole incident, and my boss asked her to send the video. Then Mary got flustered and said the police had it, so my boss asked her to send over a copy of the police report. Then Mary said it had a lot of private information in it, so my boss asked her to redact the private information and send it over. Then Mary said she didn't feel comfortable with that, and my boss told her that she could not take action against an employee based on word of mouth from a stranger. Then Mary shouted at her about victim blaming and hung up. Unfortunately, that was not the end of it. Last Wednesday, Mary somehow sent an email from my personal email account with a dick pic, not mine obviously, to the entire office. My best guess is that I must have left my email logged in on one of my in-laws' devices. She's definitely not smart enough to actually hack me. And I know this is completely beside the point, but of course she chose the weirdest looking dick I've ever seen. I played team sports all my life. I've seen a lot of dicks, and this was something else. It's honestly kind of funny to think about Mary Googling gross penis or something and sifting through hundreds of images to find Juru as the right one. I had to apologize to everyone on staff and thankfully folks were surprisingly understanding. It's actually been kind of a nice bonding experience with my coworkers. I honestly didn't consider myself to be super well liked in the office, but it feels like everyone has been going out of their way to be kind to me and it means a lot. Anyway, at this point it was clear we had to escalate things legally. I really wanted to avoid it, but she forced hand. My wife and I have a lawyer friend who helped us draft a cease and desist letter outlining her continued harassment and the material and emotional damage this is causing us. My wife then sent a message to Mary and my in-laws with a copy of the letter and made it very clear that we would pursue criminal and/or civil proceedings if her harassment continued. My wife's mom then called her crying and begged her to just let it go and leave Mary alone. My wife calmly explained that Mary is the only person responsible for this whole situation, and that their parents have always enabled her awful behavior. She also said something she later regretted but I think was pretty badass. Mary is going to stick you two in a nursing home and steal your money the minute she has the chance, and you deserve it. After the way her mom reacted, my wife is firmly settled on cutting off her family completely. This happened on Friday, and on Sunday Mary's best frenemy and sent my brother a message on Facebook to say Mary is going to leave us alone and to please not sue her. I told my brother not to respond, then just sat and enjoyed the idea that Mary was out there somewhere freaking out about the potential of having to actually face the consequences of her actions. It must be such a strange feeling for her. Since then, we haven't heard a peep from the grapevine. It feels like things are finally starting to go back to normal. My wife is starting therapy next week and will be starting couples therapy in a month or two. She wants to do some work on herself first. She's also taking a short leave from work to rest and recharge. I'm so proud of her for standing up for herself with her family and finally putting her mental health and well-being first. Thanks again for everyone who offered advice. This was a messy situation, but it definitely would have been messier without your help. Update 3 to 7 months later. I forgot about this account completely until today and logged in to see so many comments and messages asking for an update. It's honestly touching to see how many people care about this situation and want the best for me and my wife. This will be a brief update. I don't want to make this a regular thing, and the original situation has resolved enough that I am hopeful this will be the end of the saga. Mary and my in-laws have pretty much left us alone. My mill still tries to contact my wife every now and then, but she's made it clear to her family that if the first words out of their mouths aren't "I'm sorry," she isn't interested in a conversation. As you can see, the past 6 months have made my wife a badass. She has done some amazing work in therapy and her confidence is growing all the time. It's not just with her family. She's more comfortable asserting herself at work, with strangers, with friends, etc. She's even stopped putting up with some of my shit. To be fair, that shit is stuff like my leaving my socks everywhere around the house, but I'm seriously proud of her for telling me to cut it out. I'm becoming a more responsible and supportive partner because she's able to communicate her needs and expectations without feeling guilty about it. And I'm able to communicate things to her without intense emotions fully eclipsing the conversation. I didn't mention this in my earlier posts, but my wife does struggle with rejection sensitivity even outside of her family. Often if I brought up something that I felt needed to change, her emotional reaction to feeling like she did something wrong would be really intense, and instead of dealing with the problem, it would become about regulating her emotions. Now my wife has really good coping tools that allow her to talk about the problem without thinking she is the problem. And the biggest update. She's pregnant. We have a baby girl due in February. I am shitting my pants with excitement. We are going to love her so much and teach her that she is more than her beauty. She's going to have happy parents who love each other and work through issues as a team. The toxic cycle will be broken. Jenna's family doesn't know and she's not sure if / when she'll tell them, but if she does there are going to be strong boundaries in place for how they can be a part of our daughter's life. And it'll start with family therapy. For now, she has one set of grandparents that will go to the end of the earth for her, and that's more than enough. My family has been absolutely incredible in their support and they're so excited for us. Things are looking better than they ever have. That's all folks. Thanks again for your support on this wild journey. 9 months later. Hello everyone, I have come here for advice before and you were all incredibly helpful, and I could really use some support again. You can check my post history for the full story, but TL, Doctor, last year my wife, Jenna, and I had to make the decision to go no contact with her whole family. Her sister, Mary, 30F, sexually assaulted me, in-laws defended her, and after some legal wrangling they finally left us alone. The situation wrecked my wife's self-esteem and tested our relationship, but we made it through. Jenna and I had our first daughter in February. She's amazing and we're doing great. We ended up moving away from Jenna's home state, NY, to mine, MA, to be closer to my family, and they've been incredibly helpful with the baby. We have not seen Jenna's family since cutting contact and blocking them everywhere, and we didn't tell them about the baby. Yesterday we received a letter in the mail from my Mill and Phil. No idea how they got our address. Apparently my Phil has been diagnosed with late-stage cancer and is being told he could be dead in weeks. In-laws went on about how sorry they were for the way they handled the situation with Mary. They also apologized for the way they've treated my wife her whole life. Again, check post history, but basically Mary was the golden child and Jenna was an afterthought despite being super accomplished. They ended by saying they recently heard about the baby through the grapevine and want to meet their grandchild. To me, the apology seemed genuine. They went into detail on what they did wrong, apologized and expressed remorse, and explained what they should have done differently. They said they hope to earn our forgiveness with time and were willing to do family therapy to heal our relationship. Jenna is not having it. She feels like it's too little too late and doesn't want to respond. She also suspects that they're lying about Phil's cancer and just want to pressure us into reconciliation so they can meet the baby. It seems ludicrous, but I guess I wouldn't put it past them. I want to respect my wife's feelings around this, but I'm worried that if the cancer is real, she may regret not taking this opportunity for reconciliation before he dies. I expressed this to her, but she is adamant and I haven't broached the topic since. My instinct is to wait a few more days until the shock wears off to talk about it again. I just don't know what the best way to approach it would be. I certainly don't want to force my wife to do anything she doesn't want to do, but I feel like she's not thinking clearly about this right now. It also must be noted that our baby is still struggling with sleep and we're both tired and emotional all the time, so I'll feel like this might be influencing how she feels about all this. What should I do here? Should I try again or just let it be? Story 4. I think my wife is in love with her female best friend. I have been married with my wife for 7 years and we met 8 years ago in a church meeting and we became friends. My wife is a quiet, kind and beautiful woman, any man's dream, therefore it was obvious that I fell for her instantly, although she always behaved with what I thought was shyness, not wanting to cuddle with me or only kissing me on rare occasions. We both were raised in Christian families in a part of our country that is really religious, but unlike me, her parents were always the type who follows the holy doctrine really seriously, so she has a traditional way of thinking about religion and how women should behave, so I always thought that it was because of that her behavior is like that. Sometimes I think she looks like a robot. She's nice and kind with everyone, but a couple of times I saw her staying all quiet staring into space like if she was dead. Over the years I began to take it as something normal on her personality because she always refused to go to the psychologist and always said that she's just like that, until 2 months ago when she found out that the woman who was her best friend in high school was coming back to the town. I never saw her so happy and alive. I felt happy for her, thinking that what she needed was a female friend. My wife never used to leave the house, but since that woman is staying in the town she has been going out as much possible. She became a different person, but not in a bad way. But she looks full of life, and to be honest I never saw her smile as much as when she tells me that she will go out with her friend for a coffee. For the record, I'm sure she's not sleeping with her because she doesn't know how to lie, and her behavior with me never changed. I'm not going to deny it, days ago I started to feel jealous of that woman, that she is the reason why my wife smiles so much and is on her phone all day. Out of pure curiosity 3 days ago Elle entered her FB and some albums were public. She had a lot of albums and I found pictures of her and my wife during high school. That woman was hugging my wife as if they were a couple. In some of the photos they were holding hands or looking at each other with bright smiles, which is something she never does with me. Her family hates gay people, although my wife never talked ill about them but just avoid talking about the topic, which now makes sense to me. I don't know whether to confront her because maybe I'm just thinking too much, or maybe she's in love with her ex-girlfriend. The only thing I'm sure of is that she only looks happy talking about that woman, so I don't know what to do. November 9, 2023. Thanks for the advices in my previous post. Although I got few replies, everyone was very friendly. I decided to confront my wife and ask about the photos with her friend during high school. Everyone in the post said that they are most likely just friends and made my mind feel more in peace, thinking that I was overthinking, but when I showed her the photos she began to breathe fast in what I think was a panic attack. I helped her to calm, but then she got upset because I sneaked in her friend FB. I knew she was trying to change the subject because she loves to do that, so I got serious and told her to talk. After a few long minutes full of her trying to change the topic, she ended up telling me everything. Indeed, she and her friend used to be a couple during high school and friends since kindergarten. They kept the relationship as a secret, pretending to be only best friends until my wife's parents found out and beated her up, separating them. Her friend moved to the capital that year and they never saw each other again, but for what my wife said and showed, they never stopped loving each other. In some point of the conversation, my wife stopped calling her friend by name, and without realizing she started calling her me more, which hurt me because in all years married she never called me like that. I asked her if she was cheating on me with her friend and said that they never kissed or anything, but I'm sure she's emotionally cheating me. She doesn't know what's that concept, so she really believes she's not doing anything wrong. The reason why her friend never wanted to meet me or even go to our wedding is because she hates to see her love married with a man she doesn't even like and living a lie. Ouch. I asked my wife if she loves me and said yes, but like a best friend. Yes, my own wife just friend-zoned me. She cried a lot, saying that she's really sorry for lying to me. When we meet, we really clicked as friends, and she told me that her parents insisted her to marry me so she could heal. That explained why she never liked to hug, cuddle or do anything romantic with me. It wasn't because she was shy, but because she didn't like me. I wanted to lose my temper and yell at her. I wanted to cry and even run away because I was patient and empathetic with all the time she rejected my affection and I felt alone. I've even been thinking for years that maybe I'm a bad husband and I was treating her badly without realizing it. Feeling insecure about my own personality, but she assured me that I was never the problem. I didn't cry or yell. I just left the house and came to my sister's house. We didn't talk about divorce or anything like that. I even think my wife doesn't see any problem with what she did with her friend, but I'm sure that I don't want to spend all my life in a loveless marriage with a woman that will never love me back. I'm sorry for the long post. I'm just venting at this point, but I feel like I wasted all my youth. I didn't expect it to update so fast, but I needed to talk about that. It's not like I don't feel bad for her, I do, but now I feel even worse for myself. November 13, 2023. Maybe nobody remember my two first posts, but I wanted to at least post a final update because I'm really thankful for all the kind comments and advices I received. They're helping me a lot. I come back to my house the day after my last update and my ex-wife was there laying in the couch. The first thing I said when I entered was, "We're going to divorce." Maybe that wasn't the best way of saying it, but she had the habit of changing the topic when I want to talk about serious things, so I didn't want her to do that this time. She clearly didn't expect that and started to cry and have an anxiety attack, saying that we can't divorce, that I can't do that to us. But what hit me harder was there's no point in us breaking up. The fact that I don't love you doesn't change anything, which is true. I realized that our relationship was always like that, her treating me just like a friend and me accepting that kind of trait. She said that she never cheated or anything like that, even if I explained again what's emotional cheating. I told her that she's not even attracted to man, so there's no sense in staying married because we're just not for each other, and asked her if she still loved that best friend, and she didn't deny it but kept insisting that we shouldn't divorce. I can understand why she was so desperate, but it made me feel used, like if I was her pathetic beard who she can always use as a shield for herself, or a dog who will always be happy with the smallest token of affection. I don't need her signature anyway to get a divorce, so even if she doesn't want to, we're 100% going to break up. I told her I'm not going to take her out of the closet, but if anyone asks Lil, just say the truth, avoiding the sexuality topic because I don't want people gossiping and assuming things that didn't happen. The lands and basically all the things of the house are mine, and maybe I'm an asshole for this, but I told her that I will not give her anything because it's all mine and Elle inherited the land from my grandfather. At this point she just looked sad and defeated, so didn't complain or anything, although I will get advice from a lawyer to be sure. I told her that she can stay until December in the house, and she answered that she will probably have to come back to live with her parents, which actually made me feel bad because my ex-in-laws are not good people, but for what she said, she's still talking with her best friend, so luckily she's not alone. The conversation finished awkward with me just leaving. For now I'm staying at my sister's house. I can have time for myself since she and my other sisters are out of the province for a concert. I didn't talk with my ex-wife after that day and she didn't try to contact me, but I know that she told my ex-in-laws about the divorce because they wanted to contact me to ask why we're divorcing, but I just answered that these are things that need to be resolved only between her and me. So this will be probably my last update because I will go NC with my ex-wife after the divorce. We don't have children. Sometimes she started talks about having a baby and now I feel really relieved of always saying that I didn't felt ready. Maybe something in me was already telling me that she wasn't for me. So we don't have anything that tie us together. I have been going to the psychologist since I was a child, so I think that has helped me a lot to channel my emotions. Many in the comments said that I shouldn't have empathy or things like that for her, but we're both broken people that suffers from a religious trauma and I know how bad that messed to people's mind and heart. Some people in the comments were confused about why I stayed with her when she clearly didn't love me romantically, but I don't know. Maybe I always justified her actions because somehow I felt identified with her. Maybe I have a hero complex, or maybe my sense of duty is too strong that I felt internally tied up with her and responsible of making her happy as her husband even if she always rejected my romantic love. I don't know. That's something I will talk and work with my psychologist. Also, I received questions like why I married with her in the first place, and she was the one who said we should marry and I was immature and young at that time, and because we got along well I thought it was a good idea. For now I just want a divorce and then spend time with my family. In general I feel numb and weird. I haven't cried yet, and in the session of yesterday my psychologist told me that he thinks I already grieved the relationship long time ago even if I didn't realize it. I don't feel like I lost a wife but like I lost a close and good friend and company. Not a heartbreak pain but a betrayal pain. Anyways, I don't want anything to do with her anymore. Maybe I'm being a bad person for abandoning her knowing the type of life she had, but I can't save a person who doesn't want to be saved and I'm tired of trying. For now I will just say goodbye, maybe not to a woman I saw as the love of my life but to a woman who helped me and was a good friend for years. I'm really thankful about the kind comments people left, even some mean ones which make me think that maybe I'm too quiet with how I reacted. That's something wrong? I was never the temperamental type. I'm sorry if the update is a boring one and not about me starting my villain era, but that's not my style, haha. Thanks everyone. November 30th, 2023. Hello. It's been a while since I posted and sadly the mods deleted the 2 times I tried to post a final update. I don't know if someone is going to read this, but my sister, she knows about the Reddit posts, showed me that someone posted the story on TikTok. Sadly I read the comments and decide the account changed a lot of things. I also read all kind of comments assuming things about me that are fake. I want to clarify some things. 1, I never married her because I wanted a submissive woman. We were both like best friends. I don't know why I read comments saying that I wanted a housewife when I didn't. Many times I offered her to work with me but she never wanted to look for a job or study something, so I didn't insist it because we were doing well financially. I wasn't going to open the relationship for her. Luckily, realized I deserved so much better, and to be honest, I already give up too much things for her to give up also my life. Maybe some people is okay with having a loveless marriage but not me, not anymore. I read a lot the comments saying he should help her, he should be generous with the divorce, but how do you help a person who doesn't want to be helped? I tried for years to help her and now all I do is keep hearing about horrible things she did behind my back that I don't really want to talk about. She used you because she was afraid of coming out. I understand that, I do, but I deserve that? I deserve to be used? I deserved her to even use my money to buy things for her best friend? I don't think so. We live in an open country. Even one of my sisters is lesbian and married, and I know I would have helped my soon-to-be ex-wife in a past if she confessed that to me. We married but she had countless opportunities to tell me the truth. She never cared to see me feel insecure about her. Instead she kept insisting that we should have a baby. Now I realize that she wanted that to make sure that if we divorced she would get something since she never worked or studied. I found out her best friend have a wife and a baby, so no, my ex-wife is not with her and the situation became even more messed up, but honestly I don't want to get into that. My ex keep insisting that she never cheated on me with her physically, so I think I believe her in that, at least. I also suffer from religious trauma, and a trauma doesn't make you a bad person. That's something that's inside. Nobody forced her to the marriage. In my country nobody does that. I asked her why she wanted to marry and she said that her parents told her that she needed to heal, and she said I was a good man for her. That's why she used to insist a lot in getting married. So if anyone wants to know how everything ended, I'm getting divorced, but it's a tedious and lengthy process. I'm keeping the house, the car, everything. I'm selfish? Maybe, but I wanted to think of myself once in a lifetime. Working for those things is hard and I dedicated my life to building my house. My ex-wife is currently living with her brother. She never asked me how I was, neither when I left the house after finding the truth. But I did check if she was fine, sending messages the first days asking how she was feeling. I suffered a mental breakdown a few days ago because she keeps sending me texts saying that we should come back together. We should have a child. I never wanted to have a baby with her, and she insisted a lot of times in that. And that it doesn't matter that she doesn't love me. She never loved me and we lived well, so I should go on with the marriage for her. It made me realize she's only trying to make me feel guilty, so that just made me understand that for her I'm not even a human. Maybe I'm not even a dog at her eyes, so I just blocked her number. I understand she's anxious because she doesn't have anything, but it's not like I've never told her to finish a career, so to be honest I just give up on her. I'm too tired of this situation. I don't really know what she's going to do with her life, but I don't care anymore. My psychologist made me realize all the narcissistic traits she has. I want to move on with my life because I deserve that and because I'm tired of being used. So yeah, I don't know if someone is going to read this, but I want to leave this post here because sadly people likes to distort the story. May 20th, 2024. Hi, it's been a long time and my other posts here got deleted, so I give up in trying to post a final update and forgot about this site, but today I saw that someone posted it on a site and I think it's good to post an update because I saw that there are people who keep sending me private messages asking how I'm doing. I deleted the first post to edit a few things. I'm finally divorced. I thought it would take at least 8 months to complete, but it was faster than I thought, since in my country it takes the signature of only one person for the divorce to be completed. She started making things complicated for me when she realized that we were really going to part ways. She even made up that I had cheated on her when I had only said that we were going to divorce because of differences. That way no one would ask, not even her parents, who now think that I'm the one who cheated, but I don't care. But as I always say, I got tired of trying to understand her and her actions. She started to bother me a lot, even coming to the house, and I didn't want to deal with her anymore, so I just gave her a few of the furniture and appliances in the house even though I paid for everything. It doesn't matter. She was a housewife, so after all she deserves her share in the divorce, and I know her. She would have kept insisting, and I was so feeble-minded at that point that I just wanted to stop seeing her forever, to be free of her. I guess she came out of the closet herself because now she's dating an older woman and living with her as far as I know. I don't know if she lied to me and I don't want to know it. I don't want to know if that woman is another lover she had. I don't want to know how much they know each other. I don't care. I don't want to hurt myself with that. It's her life, so at least now she's being herself. My sisters wanted to go and beat her up when they found out, but I told them not to go or she could take advantage of that. I found out about a lot of other things she did behind my back, but I don't want to talk about it, just that I'm a big fool. I hope she can finally be happy and stop using people for her own good, since I know she wasn't happy with me and I wish happiness for myself too. About her best friend, I really have no idea what happened to her. My sister knows that woman's wife, and to this day they upload photos together with the baby. My sister couldn't talk about it to that woman's wife because, well, she doesn't have any proof. I've been feeling good. I'm not going to lie and say it's easy. I think people on internet have more empathy for my ex than for me when I talk about this, haha, but I think now I don't care anymore and I rather this that way because I reject being a victim. I have my family and friends being my biggest support. I used to hide a lot of things from my psychologist because I knew that he would tell me that those things are wrong, and a big part of me didn't want to hear the truth, but a few months ago I was totally honest with many things that happened in my marriage. He scolded me a little but has helped me to see all the abusive things that I suffered. Even if it was not something physical, I think that mentally they damaged me a lot. I'm not going to play the victim because I refused myself many times to get out of there and keep trying like a fool. I don't see myself as a victim. I've been a victim before and I don't want to feel that way again. I've been going out with my friends to clubs. Having married so young, I lost part of my youth because I had to work, study and keep a house, so I've been really enjoying partying. Less than a month ago I started dating a girl. It's nothing serious, but we enjoy each other's company. It's weird to be with a woman who makes me feel appreciated, and she doesn't look at me with boredom when I talk. I'm really quiet. Some people called me sexist for saying that being quiet is a good thing, but I never saw it as a flaw. But she's too talkative, so it's always good to have a talk with her. My ex-wife and I had almost no intimacy. I have a trauma and it was hard for me to feel comfortable being intimate, and now looking back, I thought my ex just wanted to make me feel comfortable, but now I see that she used my trauma as an excuse to not touch me. Every time I tried to get comfortable, she would just say, you know, let's stop this or you'll have nightmares later. I was very stupid too to believe all that. She just didn't want her to touch me. But thanks to this girl I've started to enjoy myself and feel comfortable. Not many things happened honestly, and I doubt many people would mind about this, but I thought it doesn't damage me to post an update. After giving the appliances and furniture to my ex, she just totally stopped talking to me. I've been focusing on myself. I feel like I'm too young to be divorced anymore, but I feel good. I feel like this has been my biggest sign to start again, and I want to move forward for myself and my family. I think I learned a lot about this, as painful as it still is.